And in the northern arena, Hezbollah's Secretary General Naim Qassem is hiding in his bunker, making videos in which he threatens Israel, saying there is a limit, the situation cannot continue. We will defend our land and our dignity. He added that Hezbollah will not disarm, as everybody else in the land of Lebanon and most of the people in the surrounding countries have said that they need to do, and which Israel has said very clearly that they must do or risk an escalation in the conflict. Instead, Qassem said that we will defend ourselves. Any price is lower than the price of surrender. When we die, we win, according to the Hezbollah leader. You know what? Israel also wins when Hezbollah dies. It seems to me that this ultimate is a win-win situation for us. But jokes aside, the statement by Qassem came as IDF forces continue to operate in southern Lebanon to strike Hezbollah infrastructure and to prevent a buildup of weapons that Iran is trying to smuggle to them. For instance, this week, in a nighttime operation by the 769th Brigade forces in southern Lebanon, several buildings used as Hezbollah terror infrastructures were destroyed, and we'll have more details about that later on in this report. Hezbollah is also trying to trick Israel with a new tactic, altering their appearance with plastic surgeries. Dozens of members of the terrorist organizations, including senior commanders who were wounded in strikes, changed their facial features to make it harder to find them and to evade identification. It doesn't seem to be working, as these senior operatives continue to be eliminated in Israeli strikes, but you have to give them credit for trying something new, something out of a James Bond movie. However, in a rare interview, the Lebanese journalist Rami Naim claimed that Hezbollah is in total collapse, having lost its capabilities and its public trust. He also predicted that Lebanon and Israel will soon sign a peace agreement. So I say that that would be wonderful, and I hope that it happens. But there was also some good news for Hezbollah this week, as IDF spokesperson in Arabic, Colonel Avichai Aderi, announced his retirement after 30 years. Hezbollah gave him the nickname Angel of Death, and he has earned that grudging respect and affection of millions of people all over the region, significantly altering public opinion, often at the expense of Hezbollah. But now, he's exiting the stage, and in Lebanon, they simply refuse to believe it. Also in this broadcast, TBN Israel's senior Middle East analyst Mati Shoshani, switching our focus to the northern arena, where Hezbollah in Lebanon continues to violate the ceasefire agreement. On Monday night, 769th Brigade forces destroyed several buildings that served as terrorist infrastructure for the Hezbollah terrorist organization in the village of Hula in southern Lebanon. The operation was carried out as part of the IDF's ongoing military activity in the area, and according to the IDF spokesperson, in addition to destroying the buildings, forces operating in the same area last month located weapons and old explosive charges that had been stored in those buildings and neutralized them. The IDF emphasized that the presence of the infrastructure constitutes a violation of the agreement between Israel and Lebanon. And meanwhile, Hezbollah Secretary General Naim Qassem issued a sharp threat to Israel on Tuesday, warning that the Israeli strikes cannot continue.
The world's first titanium non-stick.
We will not relinquish our weapons. However, in addition to the airstrikes on individual Hezbollah operatives and weapons depots in southern Lebanon, the IDF is also sending ground forces to conduct targeted raids in the security area in accordance with the understandings that are reached with the international recognized government of Lebanon. The aim of these raids is to disrupt Hezbollah's rehabilitation efforts and the organization's terrorist infrastructure. However, the IDF is preparing for the possibility of increasing intensity with regards to the operations in Lebanon. The military has presented the political echelon with several possible courses of action amidst the backdrop of Israel's understandings that the Lebanese state is not doing enough to curb Hezbollah's power. The message being conveyed to Hezbollah is that as long as the current situation continues, Israel will continue to strike even if it leads to escalation. And on that note, according to sources in the security establishment and the IDF, Israel is preparing disproportionate moves for the possibility that the situation will escalate. Furthermore, Israeli officials are beginning to say that after several months in which targeted strikes and raids have not brought about a change in Hezbollah's behavior, there is a need to go for a few days of combat in Lebanon in order to increase the pressure and make good on this threat. But it is unclear to what extent the limited days of combat will succeed in bringing the needed change. And another unknown is that Hezbollah's response to the days of combat, and whether contrary to the existing situation in which they are not responding to Israel's strikes, they will decide to renew rocket fire and missiles into Israel, which could drag the region into a full-scale war. In the security establishment and the political echelon, they are not saying that the end point will be in days of combats, and they are not sure if this will gain the control over Hezbollah. So what all of you think about this, I'm curious to hear. So let me know, should Israel go on a few days of conflict to teach Hezbollah a lesson, to make sure that we're not bluffing?